Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Dr. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live call-in show in which you can call in and ask questions regarding our topic. The numbers to call are 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. You pass the question along to our producer, and they'll pass it along to us. So this morning we're going to be talking about something that we all have to deal with at some point in time, for the most part.
Hopefully.
And that is getting older and aging gracefully. How do we age gracefully? And what does it mean to age gracefully?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's something we're going to have to deal with, hopefully.
Yeah.
We have to age. That's just inevitable. But doing it gracefully, being able to continue functioning. That's
Right.
the thing.
Actually, aging gracefully, you want to be able to, everyone's going to age and you want to age because the alternative is not good. And you're going to start looking older. But the thing is how you handle it and being able to handle it and keep going on with your life and not quitting. And that's one of the big things. Now, when you start looking, you know, what is the key to aging gracefully? Pretty much everybody agrees. Get healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy, both mentally and physically.
Don't depend on someone to come in and do certain, all that, you know,
Well,
so
no,
many people do.
Right.
I mean,
So it's more about being mentally and physically, because you got to mentally be in the right spot as well.
Right.
And so, you know, that's the things you have to do. Now, everybody knows, I mean, you know, if it's not all about how you look, but if you keep your skin healthy, you'll feel better. If you keep, you know, you want to have energy, you want to be able to keep going, you want to be able to keep living. And that way, like I said, start early, and we've had shows about prevention, and so look at preventative health and do things that actually help with the aging process.
You know, she mentioned, okay, looking good. You know, everybody wants to do that, right? So you keep, you know, you're going to work on the skin. The best way to work on the skin, and I tell people this all the time, they look at me kind of strange, but I tell them, it starts with inside and works outside. It doesn't start from the outside and work in. So, I mean, yeah, you can put stuff on your skin and it'll really help. Things like that, that's great. But at the same time, you have to keep the body healthy because that's where the skin starts growing from, is the inside. So we've got to stay healthy on the inside.
it is the largest organ of the body.
Right.
It is.
The skin is.
And
It
one
is.
of the big things with the skin is to stay hydrated.
Yep.
And we talk about hydration all the time. And that is
Especially
something,
down here.
That is something
Yeah.
easy. Well, I say it's easy because I guess it's inexpensive because you don't have, I mean, water.
Yeah.
It's the least expensive thing
Right.
you'll buy. let's
And
put it that way.
so you got to drink water. Some people say, well, I don't like it. Well, put some lemon in it, put some lime in it. Both of those are good for you too. But you got to stay hydrated. That affects everything.
Yep.
So staying hydrated is a big thing. And you know, every show we talk about, you know, eating healthy, and that does make a big difference. And there's no doubt sugar tends to age you more. And one of the biggest things that age you, and I know everybody knows this because they know people that do it, is smoking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you can look at somebody's skin and tell they're a smoker because it
And
actually.
what's shocking is to see, you know, you see somebody that is a certain age, you know, and you think, you know, that they're older, and they're not. But
Yeah.
because they smoke, you know what it does to your skin.
Right.
So smoking definitely. Well, smoking causes what we call oxidative stress. And when you start talking about health in general, oxidative stress damages your health.
Period.
And all organs, not just the skin, it just ages you. So you want to do things to help with oxidation. And all the books written on wrinkles and feeling good, and even it helps with blood sugar, is alpha-lipoic acid. Alpha-lipoic acid is something a lot of people don't really know about a lot.
Yeah.
But alpha-lipoic acid is an antioxidant that's both water and fat soluble. And it's really good for the skin. It's really good for blood sugar control. If you control blood sugar, you help everything. So alpha-lipoic is something that you can do.
I got a question. Can aspirin affect sight?
Well, I'm sure, you know, just increasing blood flow, and it does because aspirin is a blood thinner of sorts, and you know, so that might help possibly.
Possibly.
help
I
sight.
really
We don't know
haven't
for
done the
sure, but-
research on it, so you don't know, but it does increase circulation.
And it depends on, I guess, what's blocking your sight or what's, you know, what is the
What's
deterrent?
affecting it,
Yeah,
exactly.
what's affecting it. But there's a good possibility that aspirin might help. It helps a lot of other things. Yeah.
But actually helping oxidative stress helps with sight. We were talking about, oxidative stress can, not it helps with stress. Helping the oxidative stress helps with sight. Because oxidative stress damages everything. And, your part of aging is your mitochondria slowing down. And we've had shows on mitochondria. And you want to do things for mitochondrial health. And mitochondrial health, huge difference, to stay healthy. Now, things that help mitochondrial health, you're talking about your CoQ10 and carnitine and red light therapy. We've had our show on red light therapy, but red light therapy, that's kind of one of the things it's for, is anti-aging. And not just the skin, but it does help the skin. It does help a little bit with wrinkles. It does help with scarring. It does help with a lot of things like that. But at the same time, it increases ATP production in the mitochondria, which definitely helps with energy levels, helps the immune system, helps detoxification. Helps with a little bit of everything.
Another thing that we've about the mitochondria, and we even had a show, I think, on it, the NMN, or nicotinamide, so, and it's just so good because it does increase that ATP production. So, those are the things that you can do internally.
Dr. Sinclair, his two big things for anti-aging, or aging gracefully, maybe.
Aging gracefully, right.
Is the NMN, which is nicotinamide mononucleotide.
Correct.
And resveratrol. He uses both of those in high doses to actually help with, he says, reversing some of the aging process.
And they've shown in the mouse model, and we use mice because they don't live as long as humans do. So we can take a mouse and do experiments with them, and they'll survive. If we can make them survive another 25%. You've done something drastic. And they've actually shown that some of these things like resveratrol and NMN can and have actually increased the lifespan of these mice. And that's a good thing. If they'll increase their lifespan.
And it's not just about increasing lifespan, it's also about staying healthy when you are alive. Being able to function normally, being able to keep going, being able to stay active, and that does make a difference. Yeah.
All right. We're taking your phone calls. We're talking about aging gracefully this morning. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. We're talking about how to age gracefully in this day and age. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Are there any kind of daily habits that we can add to our lifestyle, to our lives, that will, help us in aging gracefully?
Definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
We already talked about the water.
Right.
And definitely eating healthy, limiting sugar, not smoking, and drinking only in moderation. Don't overdrink. That makes a difference as well. But then there's other things. It's not necessarily daily, but you need to do regularly in order to stay healthy. One is do your lab work. Do your lab work regularly. Make sure everything is good. Don't wait until it falls apart. So that's what we tell people all the time. Come in and do your lab work.
How often should they do it? Every 6 months?
It depends on the person. Every year for sure.
Yeah.
Now, if people have issues already, then probably every 6 months. And there's some things like, thyroid. We find out somebody that has a thyroid issue, we tell them to check it every month until it's normal. And then you can go about 6 months. So it depends on what the problems are, but once a year for sure. You want to do it because you want to catch things before it becomes a problem. And if you have nutritional deficiencies, you want to help them before it causes a problem.
Right.
The scariest thing a doctor will ever tell you is, well, we'll just watch it.
Right.
Because what are we going to watch it do? Deteriorate?
Turn into something worse.
So what you want to do is, if a doctor, I don't care who they are, says, well, we'll just watch it. You got this little problem, no big deal, we'll just watch it. That should scare the bejesus out of you. You need to get your butt out of there right then and say, okay, I got to go find out what's wrong, and I want to see what I can do about it. I don't want to watch it go down. I want to see if I can turn it around.
Right.
And that's the key.
While it's turnaroundable.
While it's turnaroundable, right.
But it's,
that's a good word. Turnaroundable.
Turnaroundable. Pick up new words. And another big thing, and people don't always think about this, is keep your teeth healthy.
Yes.
Teeth are very important for your health.
People don't realize that a lot of cardiovascular issues have been linked back to the bacteria that's in the mouth.
Yep.
the teeth. And when the teeth go bad, they put toxins and stuff into the body, into the system, including those bacteria, and they wind up in our heart, and they vegetate on or what we call vegetate, or grow around the heart valves, can cause heart valve problems. They can cause all kind of problems in the heart.
So you really do need to listen to your dentist when they say you need to clean
Yeah.
plaque off your teeth every 6 months. That is true.
That dreaded
So
flossing.
yes, and like I said, you really do. Oral health definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
There is so many times on lab work we see something that just don't look right, and I'm like, it looks like there's an infection somewhere, and the person's not sick. Ends up being a tooth. If you have a tooth that hurts or has any type of sensitivity, you need to get it checked, because it's not good to just let it go. So that's another thing, is not letting things go that you know are there. So the teeth are very, very important. Like I said, just health in general. And then also your mental health. You do want to, if you are stressed, try to find ways to lessen your stress, whether it's meditating or yoga, whatever. And exercise, of course, we all know is good for aging.
It really is.
Now, over-exercising is not necessarily. It can actually cause some damage, but regular exercise, and you don't have to overdo it, is very, very good to keep things moving, keep things blood flow. It's just good for overall health. So that's another thing that people need to do regularly in order to age gracefully.
And go back to YouTube and watch last week's show, because it was talking about the proteins and stuff. Wasn't it last week? Did we do it last week?
I don't know.
when, but we did it recently, okay? Don't ask me when, but we did one recently
You
about...
just have to keep your memory good.
I'm working
We
on
did
it.
that one a few weeks ago.
We did a few weeks ago.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
back.
The
Oh,
memory
okay,
one a
okay.
few weeks ago.
Well, see, I remembered. It was...
Yeah.
We did. We
protein.
mentioned the proteins and the lack
Right.
of protein, because actually protein is very important. We did talk about muscles last week.
Oh, is it? Well,
And
protein.
when we were talking about muscles, we were talking about how important protein is. And
Right.
protein is very important, because the amino acids that are in protein are the building blocks to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference in aging. And we see people, that's one of the problems we see as people age, they stop eating as much protein. For one, it gets harder to chew. For one, they say, oh, it's too much to cook it. There's all kind of excuses that we hear every day. But you need to make sure you get your protein.
Yeah. And on top of that, now if you want to take it a step further, there's things like collagen that you
Yeah.
can do, especially because collagen can really help those joints. It can also help that skin. So
It really does. And I mean, they're always, just somebody sent us something this morning from the internet saying, collagen and biotin, don't even do it. I mean, there are always going to be negatives put out there by, who knows who puts it out, but people that don't want you to actually stay healthy. Collagen is definitely is not as much about it helps the joints.
It does.
But it definitely helps with the skin and the hair, and it does make a difference. I mean, anybody that's ever taken collagen, a good collagen. Now, there's some collagen out there that I don't think makes a difference.
well, there's different types.
And there's different types, and there's a lot of good research on some of the patented collagens that actually make a big difference. And when it comes to biotin, this morning on that article, it was more about biotin and collagen. Biotin, maybe most people aren't deficient in biotin, unless one thing that actually makes biotin deficient, antibiotics. How many people take antibiotics? A lot.
Yep.
How much antibiotics is in our water supply? A lot. You gotta, that's one reason.
In the food you eat,
And
the meats and
to actually,
stuff.
if you're getting antibiotics in the food and the water, yes, you might need some biotin. Now, you don't need giant amounts. People say, oh, how many do I take? I said, just one. And ours are pretty strong, and they're a free biotin that is very usable. But I tell people more is not necessarily going to make a bigger difference, but you need adequate amounts. So you do need to get adequate amounts of your nutrients, and there's no doubt there's a lot of people nutrient deficient out there.
All right. Question, what's the best diet and exercise to lose weight in a small amount of time?
Okay, the best diet is a very low carb, adequate protein, and higher good fats. And I do mean good fats, not bad fats.
Yeah.
And that's, there's Google it. Okay, you Google that and you'll find it real quick. But that's really probably the big thing. And as far as exercise, start out with something simple like walking. I mean, you don't have to go to the gym, and I know the gym owners are going to hate me for this, but you don't have to. You can do that. Pick up a can of beans. I mean, have you ever picked up a can of beans? I've had them start exercising by picking up a can of beans, okay, and start exercising. Carry those around. Do some exercises with them. anything. Just move more than what you're moving now.
And on that question, you said in a small amount of time. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, people want to lose weight fast, and then they don't want to keep up what they're doing to keep it off. That is not real healthy.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yo-yoing is not healthy. So what you want to do is it needs to be a lifestyle change, not a diet. You just need to change what you do and eat more real food.
Right.
If you go off of packaged processed foods and you eat less food, that alone will help you. And like I said, with exercise, walking, biking, and you can do a stationary bike so you don't fall. I mean, because some people don't have enough steady. I mean, it's something scary out there, ride a bike at the traffic. But there's a lot of things, anything moving is better.
Yep.
So you do want to do some of that, but definitely small amount of time. You don't want to just lose weight and then gain it back, which is what everybody does.
Yeah, but I'm looking for a bike myself because my new neighborhood that I live in is perfect area
Yeah.
to ride a
Yeah,
bike.
good, okay.
Did not have to worry about a lot of traffic. It's 17 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a break here and come back with our final segment and also this week's special. And welcome back. It's our final segment of our live show this morning, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We were talking about how to age gracefully. It's 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and give you the special of the week.
It is GHR, which stands for growth hormone release. Now, growth hormone is something the body produces and it helps repair.
Right.
It's real important in repairing tissues and repairing damage. And now it is not true growth hormone. True growth hormone is totally different and does have some downsides to true growth hormone, which is usually an injectable pharmaceutical. GHR is amino acid blend that triggers your own body to produce growth hormone. And when you produce that growth hormone, it helps with so many different things.
Well, it helps the recovery of everything.
Right, right.
That's,
And
I mean,
it
anything
all-
that happens to you, you got to
It's
have.
also known to help with sleep. So what we usually recommend with the growth hormone release is to take a scoop of it right before you go to bed.
Right.
And so you take it at bedtime, and it does help you sleep better, but it also helps repair. And it contains, like I said, your amino acids. It's glutamine, arginine, lysine, glycine, and ornithine. So it is safe. It is not going to hurt you, and it's not going to overproduce growth hormone in order to grow cancers and things like that. So it's not going to have the downsides of regular growth hormone, but it definitely, the people that use it, it's a big difference in how they feel. So it's something, it is a powder. So you do mix it with a little water, drink it before you go to bed.
Yep.
All right. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. The phone lines are open to you here. It's our final segment of this morning's show, talking about how to age gracefully.
Right. Now we talked about being active and exercise, but you got to keep your brain active.
I was going to say we got to keep the old, gray matter going
right.
too. So,
You actually got to keep your brain functioning.
There's a great
And-
thing that you can do. You see so many people that have their phones and they're doing stuff like that. Find a game or something
Yeah.
on that works your mind.
yeah, there's
a lot of little
there's
great
actually
games
some
on
games
there.
that
Or
want to
do
that.
something, start a business. Who knows? He's always still, he's 75 and he's still wanting to do new things and start new things. And
Why not, right?
Right, because he was like, what am I going to do if I don't? And that's true.
Yeah, every once in a while, somebody says something about about if they find out how old I am. I say, well, aren't you thinking about retiring? This is retirement, okay? This is as close as I'm going to get to it.
And see, I passed retirement age last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that asked that too. Though I'm a little bit younger than you.
And I am not as old as them.
They asked me, when are you going to retire? Matter of fact, next month will mark 20 years that I've been here.
Yeah.
And I know we've been doing the show together
Yeah.
for over 8 years, almost 9 years.
Oh, you said almost 9, yeah.
About 9
Right.
years now.
So really, you can
stay active. That
start-
keeps you young right there.
Start
Yeah.
new things. You don't have to say, you see some of these people that they could be 70 and go to college. Learn something new. Not just play games, but go learn something new.
Pick up a new hobby.
Yeah,
a
pick
lot
up
of
a new
people.
hobby.
Yeah,
There's so
it's-
many things you can do.
And nowadays, especially like say with the internet, if you decide, I talked to somebody the other day and they were telling me something that they had done, and I said, how did you know how to do that? He said, YouTube University. And it's true. You can go to YouTube. If you want to know how to fix a flat tire, well, okay, go to YouTube. Whatever you want to do. It's amazing how much information. Videos that people will show you how to do pretty much everything.
Right.
So pick up a new hobby.
And talking about exercising, we talk about exercising, also YouTube, and they've got some great tips on there for just if you want to do some stuff at home.
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yeah.
A lot of, I mean,
Yoga,
that's
if you
great for
can.
you, exercise
Right.
and for
And you can
your
do,
mind.
And you can do beginning ones, so it's not as hard. You can start, there's all kind of things you can do. But people are probably wondering what's wrong with his face, and visit your dermatologist regularly because that's what's
Yeah,
wrong with
because I have
his
a couple of
face.
things on the top of my head that I get checked
As you
regularly.
age,
It's just
Yeah.
it's age.
as you age, there could be what was on his face is probably, like they said, keratosis, which is just, I call it old man spot. But he did
That's
get
what I
he got it burned off. So
Oh, gee, thanks.
That's what I told the dermatologist. He said, "Okay, what's going on here?" I said, "It looks to me like an old man spot." And he just kind of laughed. He said, "Well, we can get rid
And
of that."
don't think you're too old to do something.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
last year, I earned my first degree black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got back into that after so many years out of it, and working with Grandmaster Joe Calhoun, and it was
Yeah.
great. It was
Yeah.
a great achievement for me, and it felt
Exactly.
good.
When also aging gracefully, it's also, like we mentioned, it's about being able to handle getting older. Mindset is a huge thing. We have people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so old, I'm broke down, I'm hurting all over, and they are. And you ask them their age and they're in their 50s, kind of scary. You do get older if you think you're older. So think young, don't act old. I mean, there is a big difference. You don't have to act old just because you are getting older.
Yeah, and we're all going to have some aches and pains as we get older.
Right.
Okay, that's a given. Wear and tear on the body. But what we can do is work through it, not give in to it. I mean, that's what you see when you see the 50-year-old, with canes and crutches and just falling apart. They're giving into it, and they're down. They're taking all kind of pain medications, everything. Just work. You have to work through it. I could promise you, if you took one look at an X-ray of my low back, they could probably give me any pain medication they wanted to do. So but I don't do it.
No, and he still works in the garden.
Yeah.
He still lifts the 50-pound bags of dirt himself. He still does stuff himself.
And does it hurt?
I get on to
Yeah.
him about doing sometimes things he shouldn't do, but
Yeah.
he still does it. But he's never acted old. So that's one of the big differences. He don't act old. So therefore, mentally he stays younger, even if his body has had a little bit of problems.
I had someone tell me
Yeah.
one time several years ago I don't know, I was kind of upset. I said, act your ways. I said, well, I've never been this old before.
Right. I don't know how
I
to
don't
I don't know how to
act.
act. I've never been this old.
Yeah.
I mean, you
At
don't
this age.
always want to act your age. You want to,
Yeah, well, we try to hang on to the young.
Half your age.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We'd about
yeah.
halfway.
So you just got to stay active, brain active. Keep up all your checkups, and like I said, do prevention. Like
And-
we've
and-
always said, prevention.
Yeah,
I mean, don't wait until it becomes a problem.
Right, and proper nutrition, eating right, eating healthy, drinking plenty of clean water. The simple things that you can do. Make good choices about your food. That's very simple to do, very easy
Yeah.
to do. Can be complicated sometimes, but if you've got questions, ask us. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we're there for.
Get off
you
of
know.
packaged processed foods. That's one of the
Yeah.
downsides of everybody's health.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Next week,
We're going to be talking about, are all supplements created equal?
Yeah, this is be a good one.
yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
A lot of good information will come out of that one.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not really sure which one that you should be taking for
Yeah.
certain situation, and I know a lot of you have somebody recommend you get something from one of the big box stores, and well, we could do a whole show on that one too.
We're going to.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Right.
Anyway, tomorrow, join us next week on Are All Supplements Created Equal. Of course, you can find a lot of other reruns on YouTube. Go find some information on Facebook as well. We'll see you next Monday morning at 9 o'clock here on WLOX CBS.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.